Hey everybody, it's me, Richard with Real Men Craft 2. So today it is Friday, November 4th, I think. Yeah, Friday, November 4th. So I am going to show you guys how to do this. This is the bracelet that I always wear. I have it on in so many videos and pictures. Yeah. This is Houndstooth. So, come back after the intro. Hey everybody, it's me, Richard. Welcome back. So, as I said in the intro, or before the intro, yes, it is Friday, and I'm drinking caramel apple coffee. Out of one of my probably 40 horror slash villain mugs. So, yes, I'm going to show you guys how to do the Houndstooth Stitch. Now, some people have called this flat herringbone stitch. It's been around since the 70s, probably before, way before that. I know indigenous people were used to use stitches like this hundreds of years ago before we ever thought of doing it for crafting. Yeah, I learned it in the 70s, and when I learned it, we didn't have these fancy two-hole beads that we have today. Now, you guys, I could show you guys hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different two-hole beads. Today, I'm going to be using half tilas. Those of you that don't know what a half tila is, you're soon going to see. You can use mini super duos, you can use super duos, you can use lentils, you can use brick beads, you can use bar beads, you can use anything you want as long as it's got two holes. Now, like I was saying, when I was a kid, we had the only two-hole beads we had were little wooden cubes, and we used to get them at our local Tandy Leather in the late 60s, early 70s. And yeah, that's what we used. Now in today's crazy crafting world of beads and crafts, we've got every kind of two-hole bead you can think of. Now, a lot of you have asked me, Richard, where did you learn to bead? I am self-taught. Growing up as a kid in the 60s and 70s, I grew up in the Seattle-Tacoma area of Washington State. And in Seattle, there's a world-famous market called the Pike Place Market. And I will never forget it. It was the summer, it was July 4th of 1970. And I am one of 8 kids, and my 2 older brothers, they were twins. One is no longer with me. He passed away, but they both dared me one year. It was the summer of 1970, July 4th weekend, and they said, I dare you to make some of your little macrame beaded bracelets and see. I'll bet you can't sell a one at the Pike Place Market. Well, I remember taking probably 15 to 20 little beaded macrame bracelets out of waxed linen with every kind of colored little bead and everything from. And in 1970, I was only 10 years old, I was almost 10 years old. I came home with over $100 in my pocket. Yeah, so I felt like a rich person. But yeah, I've beaded I've crocheted, crafted. You know, But yeah, I've been lucky enough to, I've been beading and making jewelry for, yeah, since the late 60s, early 70s. I had a childhood friend, my best friend of my childhood, Starla. Her mother taught us every craft in the world, but she was the one that turned me on to beadwork and Indian loom beadwork. And yeah, we used to call it Indian loom work because, well, you guys all know the story, where loom work and hat bands and all that stuff. But yeah, I really took to beading and jewelry making. I'm gonna pop up pictures later in the video of pieces that I have made and sold for, one piece sold for $800. So yeah, I've been lucky enough to make a couple pieces for Marie Osmond. I will pop up pictures of the pieces that I sent her, and I actually delivered the first one to her. Yes, I've been very lucky. Yeah, I've been lucky. I have made a beaded, peyote stitched Ms. Pac-Man bracelet for Loretta Swit. She was a huge TV star in the 70s. She played Hot Lips Houlihan on MASH, the TV show MASH. Yeah, so let's get into this video. So I am going to do this with 2-hole half tilas, and I'm going to be using a size 15 silver seed bead. I think they're Tohos. So yeah, if you've been beading as long as I have, we have our staples like, you know, silver, gold, bronze, antique, all those metallic colors. I've got seed beads in every size, every color. I've got thousands of colors, but these are funny. So people ask me all the time, well, Richard, how many beads do you buy at a time? Well, silver, gold, staples, there's probably 10, 15 colors. These are size 11s. I have these in a huge jelly jar. Yeah. And this is a 24-ounce jelly jar. There's over 500 grams of size 11 Toho seed beads in here. Yes. There's silver, there's bronze, or no, this is gold, this is bronze, and then here's silver in a Hershey's Hot Fudge jar. Yeah, so, yeah, that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother universe. That's a whole nother video series. So let's get into doing Houndstooth. Tohos. And this is not going to be welcome to jewelry making or beading 101, because that I could do a 3-hour video, and I could do 5 or 6 videos. I could go into everything from types of beads to stitches to how I store my beads, where I store my beads. I know I have some viewers out there that have even been lucky enough to come to my house and take beading classes from me. Ellen Lewis being one of them. She has been with me for over 30 years. We've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things. But yeah, so I'm gonna teach you how I do Houndstooth. Now, some people, like I said, call this flat herringbone. I don't call it flat herringbone because it's not even worked up close to how herringbone stitch is worked up. I know it as the Houndstooth Stitch, and we all know what a houndstooth jacket looks like. It was always those really cool black and white or gray and white, very cool contrasting colors that had a pattern in the fabric. And yeah, so I'm gonna flip the camera around with this being my first jewelry making video. A lot of you have asked me for this, and sorry it has come so late, but before I get into the video, I need to welcome a bunch of new subscribers. So yeah, so these are just new subscribers in the last 2 weeks. I'm so sorry that I have forgot to do this in the last couple videos, but let's go with it. So I want to welcome in no particular order Shannon Hall Shaw, Linda Hugo, Kat's Crochet, her name is Pamela, Dragon Love Gerber, Leanne Richer, Clay Largent, Amin Wadawala, Amy Kane, Patrick Olson, 12 Castellanos, Dutch Caffeine, Solnia Prince, Clarissa Cummings, Charnay Marie 1881, Zoe Archer, Carol Hill, Rolla Chia Jr. I'm sorry if I've slaughtered any of these names. Please forgive me. Kara Jones, and I've got even more and more. So let's go. Marianne Hollyberry, Creatively Sinara, DP with Nicole M, JD Lou, that's very cool, it's J and then DELU, JD Lou, and Keyser, Teresa's Journey, CF Ivan Cruz, Jeffrey Morrison, Karen's Seeing Diamonds, and that's seeing with a C, Paula Lee, Judy Kelly, Larnice Young, Dolores Saunders, or Sanders, it's Sanders because there's no U there, the Diamond Help Desk. So everybody, welcome to the channel. Sorry it took so long to give you guys shout outs. I apologize about that. So here we go. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just crossing out names. Yeah, so I'm gonna flip you guys around here. And like I said earlier, with this being my first hands-on jewelry making video on camera, I am a man, I've got big hands. I don't get, what are they called? Nail treatments when you have your nails done. God, I should know, I have 5 sisters. Whatever. But I don't get, well, you guys know what I'm trying to say. But I do clip and lotion my, I'm very into moisturizing. God, Richie, pop it out there. So I did take my band-aids off. You guys know from the last video, I got over 25 mosquito bites. I had band-aids on my hands. It was not a pretty thing, so I took the band-aids off. So I'm gonna flip the camera around and we're gonna get into this. So I'm gonna be doing this. I'm gonna show you how to start the bracelet. I'm gonna show you, I'm not gonna go through the process of making the entire bracelet because, well, like this one here that I wear, this one is 8 inches long. This one took me 2.5, 3 hours to make. So yeah, I would be on camera. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you how to start the bracelet. I'm gonna show you how to do the first couple rows. And then I'm gonna come back later when I have my bracelet done and I'm gonna show you how to finish off the other end. Or what I might do, a little magic, I might just make a, somebody used to always call them Barbie bracelets. I always thought that was funny. Yeah, Jill Weissman used to call them, well, I'm working on a little Barbie bracelet here. So yeah, maybe I might just do a little Barbie bracelet because I can always take it apart. But maybe, maybe not. So here we go. I'm gonna pop you guys, I'm gonna pause you guys for just a second. I'm gonna turn the camera around, angle it down onto my workspace. I am working on a bead on a board. I have got 4 of these. I've got a really, really huge one, but that one is behind me right there, and that's got items on it for the Harvest Festival that I'm working on to do 2 weeks from today. Yeah, it's a huge traveling Harvest Festival that goes for 3 days. It's this is like the 50th year, 55th year, something like that. But yeah, it's huge. It's a huge thing. But yeah, that's that. I sell jewelry. That is the only show that I do. I do that show once a year. It's in November. It's always a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we have it here in Sacramento. So yeah, I've been working on a lot of pieces for that. But here we go. Let's get into Houndstooth. Okay, so you guys can all tell that I have switched the colors of my beads. This is the one that I was making in the previous video. However, with lighting and everything, it just, it was the bad time of day to shoot. So I am going to do another one in blues and whites with a gold slide toggle. And I'm going to use a better setup. Now, I would normally never have a towel under my beading surface. I would always work on my big giant bead on it board. But today, I'm going to be working on this towel because with just the bead on it board, you would see the glare. I work on a big, huge black marble table, and you would see the glare on the black table. So we're going to do it this way. So white is going to be my outer bead. Then it's going to be navy blue, and then this matte baby blue in the center, and then blue, and then white. Now, if it would make it easier for you guys, I could pour, well, I'll do it so you guys can see. I'll put some more blues here. And then I'll pop some whites over here. Just for those of you that have never used this kind of a bead tray, it's really clever. Yeah, it keeps your beads from getting mixed up. These are the 15s I'm going to be using is a gold. So let's get started. Plus today I have no background noises, except the kitty is gonna try to get in my way, but he just can't. Not today. So we're gonna. So you can use a size 11 as a stopper bead. I'm just gonna use one of my 15s. So you want to leave at least a good 8 to 10 inch tail. I'm going to go through that little stopper bead one more time. I'm using 8-pound fire line. And here we go. So we're going to start out. I've already got one. I'm going to count the first, my stopper bead, as one of the 3. Going to pick up my A color. And a B. $15s, my middle color, 3 15s, back to the navy blue. Now, you guys are gonna struggle if you've never done this stitch. Let me warn you now. This is a very simple stitch. However, the first 2 rows are just a hot mess, as Kelly Dale would say. Now, this is what you're going to have on your needle. You're going to have 3 15s, an A, 3 15s, a B, 3 15s, a C, 3 15s, a B, 3 15s, and an A. You always want to end up with a 2-hole bead. Yeah, you want to end up your last bead being one of your 2 holes. I'm trying to get this magnifier out. However, let me see if I can go back a little bit. And then to turn around, this first turnaround is the easiest of the whole bracelet. Yeah. Well, actually, it's not hard at all. You'll see. We're going to pick up 3/15s. We're going to turn around. Now, you're going to hear me refer to this open hole right here that hasn't been used yet. You're going to hear me refer to that as a free hole, F-R-E-E, or I'll just say the second hole. You always want to keep your beads kind of with the second hole showing. So from here on in, we're going to pick up a 15, our A bead, and we're going to go through these next 3/15s. You don't have to worry about your tension to start off, because you can't keep your tension for these first 2 rows. So you're going to go through those 3/15s and go through the next 2 hole, which will be your next color. Pick up a 15, your B color. Go through these next 3/15s. And like I said, it's going to be a mess. You're going to think, Richard, this is not going to work out. It's not going to lay correct. It will, trust me. I've done tons of this bracelet. Pick up a 15, the B color. Go through these 3/15s. I'm going to try to keep my big old fingers out of the way. Might be kind of hard. Now, like I said, it's going to be really, really hard to hold on to. Not hard to hold on to, but get your beads situated where they're laying in the correct place. We're always going to pick up a 15 and a 2 hole. Go through these 3/15s. Sounds like it's pouring down rain. We live here in Sacramento, California, which is Northern California. Now, I did this on purpose. So, see how you've got 2 whites, 2 blues, 2 babies, 1 blue and 1 white? That's how you'll notice if you picked up a wrong color 2 hole. If you trust yourself, you can back out. Otherwise, if I was teaching this class, I would tell everybody, take your needle off your thread. And now we're going to pick up the correct color, which you can see should have been my navy. We're going to go through those 3/15s again. Go through that second hole, or the free hole, F-R-E-E. Now you're going to look at this and you're going to say, what did I do wrong? I don't have a 2-hole bead to go through. You didn't do anything wrong. You're going to pick up a 15. You're going to pick up your 3-hole or your 2-hole, and we're going to go through all 3 of these 15s. Now, when I turn around, I just flip my piece over. So now my working tail is coming out of the beadwork toward me. And when I teach a class, I always tell my students, we always want to stitch away from us. It's just easier to me. You can go back and forth, but as if you're just learning beadwork or if you've never done something like this, it can be confusing which direction you're going. So we just went through those 3 15s. We're just gonna step up through that first 2-hole bead. Now, here's the repeat from here on in. This is all we're gonna do. From here on in, you're gonna pick up a 15, your corresponding color, and I'm gonna say corresponding color from here on in because some people might just wanna do this all in one color. Now, your brain is gonna tell you to go through this 15 and this white 2-hole right here, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna go through this 15 and this free hole of the next color or the next 2-hole bead. Now when you pull that, you're gonna see that it lays better. So one more time. We're gonna pick up a 15, our next color, or next 2-hole. Now we're gonna pick up this 15 and we're not gonna go through that blue. We're gonna pick up this 15, go through the next 2-hole bead. Now, once we get past this row, it gets even easier, and you'll see why in just a second. Here's the kitty. So we're gonna pick up a 15, our middle color. We're gonna skip, go into the next 2-hole. Now you can make this bracelet with, like I said in the intro or before the intro, you can use rulers, you can use any kind of bead you want as long as it's got 2 holes. It can be anything, literally. So we're gonna pick up a 15. Gonna go through that 15 and the last bead. Now remember before when I had 3 15s at the end of the row? That's the only time you're gonna have that, is when you start out. Here's how all the end of your rows are gonna look from here on in. You're gonna pick up a 15. We're gonna pick up our last color. And we just have a 15 to go through. That's all you have to worry about. So that's row 1, 2, and 3. Hardest part of the bracelet. We're gonna flip the piece over because I always like to be stitching away from us. Now, every row should start out with 3 little 15s at the beginning. We've already got one there, so from here on in, if you're taking notes, write down to start a new row, comma, or whatever you want to put. I'm always going to pick up 2 15s and a 2-hole. I'm going to go through that 2-hole. So if you're taking notes, and you want to write down to yourself how you start every row, here's what you're going to write. To start every row after row 3, I will always pick up 2 15s, and you can always hit the pause button to write this stuff down. I'm always going to pick up 2 15s and go through that free hole, F-R-E-E, of my first 2-hole bead. And there you go. You've got 3 15s just like this first row. From here on in, to finish off the row, I will always pick up a 15 and the color that I'm coming out of. So our thread's coming out of a white, so I'm gonna pick up a white. This is where it gets easy. We're always gonna go through that 15 and the next 2-hole bead. From here, it is a whiz. So we're gonna do it again. A 15, the color I'm coming out of, and go through that 15 and the next 2-hole. Pick up a 15, color I'm coming out of, go into that next 15. Now if you look, these almost line up perfectly straight. So your needle will literally just go in a straight line easily through those beads. So we're gonna do that one more time. Gonna pick up a 15, color I'm coming out of, go through that next 15 and the next 2-hole bead, or the next, I'll just say tila from here on in because that's what I'm using. I'm actually using half tilas. So, like before, you're gonna say, wow, I don't have a tila to go through, or I don't have a 2-hole bead. Once again, we're gonna pick up the same beads, a 15 and the color we're coming out of. The end of the row, you always just go through 115. Flip it over. You're always gonna work away from you. So now back, just like before, we've got one there. So just like your little note, when I start out every new row, I'm gonna always pick up 2 15s, go through that first hole. And there's only one hole you can go into, so you can't mess that up. You don't want to ever go through that first hole. See how each 2-hole bead has a first hole and a second hole? You never want to go through either hole more than once. So we're going to pick up a 15, pick up the color we're coming out of, go through the next 15 and the next 2-hole. And this is all you're going to do until you get the length that you need your piece to be. A 15, color we're coming out of, go through the next 15 and next free hole, F-R-E-E. 15, color you're coming out of, go through at 15 and the next free hole, F-R-E-E. Now when you lay your piece down, you can see this beautiful houndstooth stitch taking place. See it? It's absolutely gorgeous. Once again, I'm gonna pick up a 15, pick up the color we're coming out of, go through the next 15 and the next free hole. Pick up a 15, color we're coming out of. We're at the end, so we're only gonna have a 15 to go through. Flip away from me. Like I start every row, we've got 115, I need 3, so I'm gonna pick up 2. Go through that first hole. And this is a really good point why you don't want to use a towel, because sometimes your thread will get caught in this corner of the towel and flip your beads all over, and it's a mess. You know how we get drill spills when we do our diamond paintings? You never want to get a bead spill. I had one yesterday, like I said in the video that I deleted and remade this one. The cat, oh my God, was driving me crazy yesterday between him and Zero. And they were both bothering me, and the cat jumped up behind me and knocked over a whole tray of my 15s. Now, I store all my 15s in these little locking trays. Each tray holds 8 of these 4 beads. He knocked the whole tray over, and 2 of these rows had opened and mixed. So instead of spending 3 days separating colors, I just got my vacuum cleaner out and sucked them up. Yep. So I picked up my first 2 15s. Once again, I'm going to pick up a 15, the color I'm coming out of. Going to the next 15. And the next 2-hole bead. Pick up a 15. Pick up the color I'm coming out of. Go through that 15. And the next free hole of the next 2-hole bead. A 15. Pick up the color I'm coming out of. And we're gonna do this for about, for me to make, that is not a knot. For me to make an 8-inch bracelet, even a 7.5-inch bracelet, takes about 2.5 hours. So I'm gonna work on my piece. I want you to work on your piece, and I will see you back when I get to the length that I want. So I'll be right back, you guys. If you haven't done so already, I'd appreciate it if you do like my content, if you've watched the channel before, which most of you have, and if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you when we come back. We finished that row by just going through a 15. Flip your piece. We're gonna work away. We're gonna start another row. Like always, you're gonna pick up 2 15s, go through that first Tila bead or whatever 2-hole bead you're using. I'll show you, finish this row before I put you guys on a little pause break. Pick up a 15, color we're coming out of, go through the next 15, and the next 2-hole, pick up a 15, gets pretty repetitious. Pick up the color you're coming out of, go through the next 15, and 2-hole. I've got my bracelet on that I wear all the time. Mine is like a purple and a deep hunter green with a gold AB finish on it. So I'll see you when we get our length done. Okay, so hopefully you guys stuck with it. I have got mine at almost 7.5 inches. So this is the last row. We're gonna finish this last row a little bit different. So we're gonna put on the 2 15s. Now, to make this row kind of match the first row, we're going to pick up 3, go through the 15 and the 2 hole. Now, if you don't like the look of that, you can drop it down to 3. I like the 4 just because it makes it a little bit easier to pop that jump ring in. So we're going to pick up 3 because we already have one there. Go right there, just like we're doing a regular row. Pick up 3. Go right there. And you can see how it's making this little, almost like a ring. That's where we're gonna pop in our jump rings. Once again, we're gonna go through the end one. Now we need to reinforce this. So I'm just gonna flip it over. I'm gonna follow my thread path. Go through these 3 15s. I'm going to go through this 2 hole. Go through that 2 hole. You don't want to skip any beads. And we're reinforcing this because this is where our toggle is going to go on this end, our slide bar. You just don't want it to break. If you're using Fireline, you don't really have to worry about it, but I still always reinforce wherever my toggles, my slide bars, whatever they're going to be. So now we're going to tie a half hitch knot. We're just going to take the needle under this thread, make a loop, go through the loop. There's 1, there's 2. I'm going to go through a couple more beads, go into the bracelet. You want to make sure you don't break a bead. These 15s are small. Change directions. I'm going to burn this off at about 1/4 of an inch. Now you're going to see that little ball of melted thread. There. Just makes it so it's not going to come out. Now we're going to put on our jump rings. We've got 1, 2. We're going to skip the middle one. 3 and 4. So I'm going to grab my jump rings. I'm going to move this out of the way. I just grabbed my flat nose pliers. Now those of you that have never opened a jump ring, see how they're not lined up? You just want to leave it like that. We're going to come up in that loop. We're going to pop one on there, close it up. And we're going to do this 4 times on each side. There's 2. We're going to skip that middle one. And just as I said skip it, I didn't. Now you don't have to skip it. I do, just because the other side has only got 4 loops, and you'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. That's not going anywhere. We're going to pull the second side. Now, this is important. You want to make sure that the end cap is up on there and the end cap is over here. If you do them the same side, they're not going to slide into each other. Once again, we're going to open this jump ring. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I hate using this towel. It's just waiting to get caught. And here's the last one. You always want to make sure your jump rings are completely closed. You've got this thread at the beginning. We're going to work that into the bracelet just like we did the... And there we go. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, watching. Hopefully you'll try this. It's really not as hard as it looks. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous weave. And as you can see, it's very beautiful on. A man could wear it, a woman could wear it. Take care, you guys. Stay blingy and bright. Be kind. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.